Hey guys, my name is Shakarez and today I'm bringing you more League of Legends, the second informative video on the Season 3 patch. And today we're going to discuss the items that are going to undergo some changes. So let's get started. And I remind you, I'm not going to do everything in one video because there's too many changes. So the first item we have today is a Dorrans Blade, and it went through a slight change. So let's see the stats on this item. So 12 critical strike chance goes down to 10 critical strike chance, and now the passive, instead of giving 5 gold per 10 seconds, gives only 4. However, a Dorrans Blade has now an additional passive that gives 2 gold per kill on minion, champion or jungle monster. So it's pretty much, I think it's a buff. I mean, 2% critical chance isn't much, and this additional passive will mean more gold in minion kills. So the next item we have is Black Cleaver, that has undergone a lot of changes to make it a better item for AD casters. So let's look at the changes. So the Black Cleaver's recipe has changed completely. It has gone from BF Sword plus Dagger to Brutalizer plus Ruby Crystal, and the status changed immensely because of this. So attack damage less 5, not much there, but instead of attack speed it now gives 10% cooldown reduction, 15 armor penetration, and it has a new passive that deals physical damage to an enemy and reduces their armor by 7.5% for 5 seconds, and this stacks 4 times, so it can go up to 30%. Now, since this item gives a percentage of armor penetration instead of a flat amount, it's much better against champions that stack more armor. So it's a really nice change. It's going to be a really good item on AD casters like Pantheon, Garen, even Kayle, which is my main. So I'm really happy about this change. I'm a bit sad it lost the attack speed, but I think it's a really good item now. And it's also a viable alternative for people who build Brutalizer, because before you could only go to Yumu's Ghostblade, and most AD bruisers do not like to build Yumus. So a really good change, really good job by Riot in my opinion. The next item on our list is Deathfire Grasp, and after so many changes and nerfs and buffs after nerfs and buffs, it's receiving yet another buff. So let's look at the stats on this item. So ability power goes up 20 up to 100 ability power, and now has the cooldown reduction again 15%, which is a whole lot. And now the active deals 15% target champion maximum health in magic damage, and then amplifies all the magic damage the target takes by 20% for 4 seconds. So this is a really scary item. I'm actually really scared because this will be a great item on AP burst mages like Veigar, Akali, Evelynn, and it will be really scary for the enemy AD carry to have to face an AP mage doing this kind of damage. So we'll have to see how this will work in Season 3, if it's gonna get nerfed, if it will last longer. To sum up, this is going to be a core item on a lot of AP champions and a really dangerous item. The next 3 items that are going to be modified or changed are the Doran's items, and all the 3 Doran's items are going to be slightly buffed because Riot wants to make these items more viable for starting items, and this goes with the fact that Riot decided to put 25 base move speed on each champion, and decided to take those 25 extra move speed from boots. So boots, free pots is not the only good starting items now. You have many other choices, and Doran's items are a really solid choice. So let's take a look at the Dorrans Blade stats. So the stats are pretty much the same, with the difference of the lifesteal that has been removed, and now the Dorrans Blade has a passive that each basic attack restores 5 health each time. This makes Dorrans Blade a much more effective item for low levels and for stacking, because it's not a unique passive, so it will stack. If you have 2 Dorrans Blade, you'll be restoring 10 health on each hit, and that's much more than 6 lifesteal on early game. Next item is Doran's Ring, that has also received a slight buff that I stated earlier. So let's look at the stats. So 15 ability power and 80 health maintain themselves, and the 5 mana regen go down to 3 mana regen, which would seem like a nerf, but now it has a new passive that restores 5 mana when you kill an enemy unit. So you end up getting more mana than you would with 5 mana regen. So it's a pretty nice buff that will let AP mids stay more in lane early game. Doran Shield has also undergone an interesting change for the better, so let's look at the stats on this item. So the 10 armor and 120 health and the 8 health regeneration maintained, but it now has an additional passive that blocks 6 damage from champion basic attacks. Now this is a really good item if you're going to have a lane switch and you're going to face 1v2 on top or bot lane. This is a really good defensive item, and with the increase on base move speed you can really use this, and it's a really viable pick for early game. And even if you're going top and you want to play defensive against 1v1 against a Kayle, Teemo, or any type of champion that relies a lot on basic attacks, this is a really solid pick. The next item on our list is Frozen Heart. That has undergone little changes, mostly due to recipe changes. So let's take a look at the stats. So less 100 mana, the cooldown reduction maintains but is not a unique passive anymore, and the aura is pretty much the same. The cost went up though, because instead of being Glacial Shroud plus 2 cloth armors, it's now a Warden's Mail that is now made of cloth plus cloth, and a Glacial Shroud. So not much here. It's a little nerfed since the cost went up, but not much else to say. The next item is Giant's Belt. The only basic item I'll be covering, just because it now builds into so many different items, not like before. So pretty much the stats just went down a bit. So less 30 health for less 110 gold. Next up is Lijiang Bane, and Lijiang Bane has undergone some interesting changes, so let's take a look at the stats. So you can immediately notice that the price cost has gone down 470 gold, and this is because it's just Sheen plus Blasting Wand now, no more no magic mantle. This means no more magic resistance. So ability power stays the same, a bit less mana, 100 mana less, and less 2% move speed. Another thing that has changed is the passive that has gone from dealing physical damage equal to 100% of the ability power to magic damage equal to 50 plus 75% of the ability power. Now the biggest change in my opinion on this item is the 470 gold difference, and this means champions like Fizz will be able to build this item much earlier into the game. So the last item for today is a very underappreciated item called Gintys Rageblade. Now Gintys Rageblade is one of my favorite changes for Season 3, so let's take a look at the stats. So 35 attack damage and 45 ability power go down to 30 attack damage and 40 ability power, so a slight nerf in the base stats, and the passive now grants 4 attack speed and 4 ability power instead of 6 ability power and 4 attack speed. And it still stacks up to 8 times, so less ability power you'll get from the stacks, same attack speed. However, it now has a new passive that when the champion falls below 50% health, it will grant us 20% added attack speed, 10% lifesteal, and 10% spell vamp until we exit combat. And it only has a 30-second cooldown. Now this is going to be a really scary item on champions like Jax, Kayle if you build her hybrid, and I don't know, champions like Teemo will be able to sustain themselves in combat for a long time. So this is a really nice change for Gintys Rageblade. So yeah, from me that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did. Please leave a comment if you have any suggestions or something you want to point out that is wrong in the video. And I'll see you guys later.